Shabbat Shalom. This week in Parashat Vayigash, we're finishing the story of Joseph and his brothers. It's a big story and it's intense, and I want to deal with one of the biggest questions that comes up when we read the story. The question is brought up by the Ramban. The Ramban asks, Ki yesh litmoa, there is a big question. אחר שעמד יוסף במצרים ימים רבים, והיה פקיד ונגיד בבית שר גדול במצרים, after Yosef became like this big guy in Egypt. איך לא שלח כתב אחד לאביו להודיעו ולנחמו? So the big question is, after Yosef has power in his hands, why doesn't he not send a letter, a messenger, something to his father and tell him, listen, I'm alive? I mean, Yosef was sent out to seek for his brothers, and the brothers sold him, and he went through a lot of things, and he's been separated from his family. Okay, so he might be mad at his brothers, that's understandable. But why doesn't Yosef think about his father, who's very connected to him and is now, I mean, Yosef doesn't know, but what's the story with that? So now there are two very, very basic answers to that question, and I think it's interesting to see the difference between them. What the Ramban answers is that what Yosef was trying to do is he was trying to fulfill the dreams that he dreamt in the beginning in Parashat Vayigash. We remember that Yosef has two dreams that he dreams. One is that the brothers with grains of wheat are bowing down to him, and the second dream includes also probably Yaakov and some mother figure, right? And if Yosef would send to his father and say, listen, I am now in Egypt, maybe that would break the dream and Yaakov wouldn't come and bow down, because if he would know that it is Yosef, so he wouldn't bow down. Now, that is a very common answer. It's in the Rishonim deal with it. But a few years ago, came in the end of the 20th century, came a rabbi, Rav Yoel Bin-Nun, who's part of the Gush Etzion Tanakh revival, and he worked through that answer, and he said, that doesn't really work, because Yaakov could come, he still could bow down. He has like a whole long article walking through that. And what Rav Yoel Bin-Nun wants to say is that Yosef didn't send a message to his father because Yosef thought that Yaakov was in the deal, was in the scheme of trying to kill him and selling him. And if you read the story like that, it comes up to be a very tragic and sad story. If you read it, that Yosef thinks that his father was also together with the brothers trying to get rid of Yosef. So Yosef is actually living all these years, and he feels a terrible betrayal. And he thinks that not only did his brothers sell him, his father also wanted to get rid of him. And therefore Yosef can't do it. He can't send anything to his father because he thinks his father hates him. Right? And then when we read Parashat Vayigash, and Yehuda, when he speaks, mentions that Yaakov doesn't know that Yosef was killed, so then Yosef understands that Yaakov wasn't together with the brothers in the scheme of selling him, and then Yaakov breaks down. I think if we stop here and look at the difference between the two answers, I think there's like a different even perception of the world. And what Rav Yoel Bin-Nun says, he says that if you think of Yosef thinking that his father also wanted bad things for him, if we take the father as like the father of the world, right, and we go through life, and bad things happens, are we going to go and say, okay, God wants us to have bad things? Or are we going to say, okay, bad things happened, but we assume that God is not part of the group who's planning bad things? That's one way of looking at life. If we go towards the more classic Ramban answer, saying that Yosef was trying to work out the dream, that is also a very strong message, saying that our goal in life is trying to fulfill our dreams, right? And in this story, it becomes very, very complicated. But still, Yosef sticks to fulfilling his dream until we all know the end, and the end is a good end. Shabbat Shalom.